Good morning, you guys. I can't believe it's already August. I know the last kind of homesteading update I gave y'all was back in June. So it's been about 2 months and more things have kind of been going on around here on the farm. And so I just wanted to take y'all along and give y'all another update. I'm hoping to kind of do this maybe like every 2-3 months. Just because while I do film and kind of show y'all what we're doing here and there, there's so much that we do off camera that, you know, we're not filming everything. Everything's changing so quickly. And so I just wanted to kind of take y'all along and give y'all just a little bit of an update. Hopefully this won't be too long. So let's go ahead and get started. So since it's in the morning, we've got most of our animals up here in the front. Something I wanted to show y'all is this goat right here in the middle, this massive goat. She is our newest addition. I think we got her last weekend or maybe just the other day. I don't remember. Everything happened so quickly, but we did just get her right here with the big brown head, and she is a massive goat. Like I said, I mean, she is just so much bigger than the rest. She is a boar. And so she is super cute. I'm not sure exactly how old she is, but she is the newest member. And we have got most of our goats right up here. So another pretty significant update going on here is kind of the status about our livestock guardian dog. And I want to be as real as possible with you guys because, like, while, you know, social media isn't always real and we do try to show like the better sides of things, you know, this is a working new homestead farm, and a lot of things, you know, we're doing very well. I feel like our goat situation is going really good, but sometimes, you know, there are some not so great things. There are fails. If you caught some of my latest videos, I shared y'all what all the fails were in my garden, which was a bunch. And so, you know, I do want to show y'all kind of what's going on because not everything is perfect when you have a farm. And so that being said, you know, I have kind of showed y'all and kind of brought y'all along when we got our livestock guardian dog. He was an Armenian Gamper, just so sweet. Like, as soon as we brought him on day one, like, he was great at his job. He protected these goats so well, and he just fit in with the family so good. He was so sweet, so good with us and the kids. And, you know, just one afternoon we noticed that he seemed a little bit more sad. Like, we really couldn't tell what was going on. He just kind of seemed sad, and still eating, still kind of walking around doing his thing, just wasn't as cheerful as usual. And then the next day, same thing, looked completely fine, just seemed a little bit off. And we came out just like 2 hours later from kind of seeing him and petting him, and he had just passed. And like I said, we have no clue what happened. You know, we checked him for any sign of worms, no swelling, anything. We were like, well, maybe he got a snake bite, and just that escalated quickly. But, you know, we checked all of his legs and everything, and literally nothing we could find looked abnormal. Like, he looked like a perfectly healthy dog. Like, we don't know what happened. I mean, dogs, same as humans, like, they can have a stroke or a heart attack or something like that, so we don't know if that was the case. We had him probably less than a month, and so he could have been sick, you know, from the previous owners. We really have no clue. So that was a pretty hard loss for us. Like I said, we quickly got attached to that dog. He was so perfect. I was just telling Garrett, you know, like the day before, actually, he was just standing there, you know, petting the dog, and I was like, wow, y'all look great together. Like, y'all are supposed to be working on this farm together, and so that was pretty difficult for us. So we did, probably 2 weeks later, because we do have these animals. We got the dog for a reason, you know. If y'all missed it or didn't know, like, we had a stray dog come and attack one of our sheep one day, and that was the whole thing. That's why we got the dog. And so we needed a new guardian dog. So actually we found a pair of guardian dogs. One is, and I'll find her, she's roaming around here somewhere. They are Great Pyrenees. We got one, Bella, which she kind of roams around, does her own thing. She's about 6 years old, and so I'll show her y'all, or I'll show y'all her whenever she kind of comes around. And then out here we've got her grandson, Albus, which is about 6 to 8 months old. So he's still learning how to be a livestock guardian dog. She's kind of showing him the ropes, but I'll kind of show y'all him now. So this is Albus right here. Like I said, about 6 to 8 month old, Great Pyrenees. He is a boy, although he has a pink collar. I ordered the wrong sizes in the collar, but we will get on fixed stuff when I get around to it. But he is a jumper. We have not had a puppy in a while, so getting used to him is really difficult, especially with, you know, how perfect our Armenian camper was. He's kind of something to get used to. We do usually have him tied up to the tree because he is still small enough to get through some of the hog panels that we have down at the bottom. So he's kind of tied up to the tree. Usually we kind of let him out to kind of roam around through the field and through the unfenced part when we're outside. But he's gonna be great. We already know and have seen the older dog kind of teaching him how to kind of stand his ground and bark whenever there's another kind of dog out just roaming around. So he'll do great. Although he is not our old one, he is going to do fine. The kids are really enjoying having a puppy around, but he'll be sweet. He'll be a good dog once he gets a little bit older and gets really good and trained. So like I said, I'll show you Bella once she kind of comes around. She can easily jump this fence, so we've just started letting her do her own thing. She can get back in and out. She likes to hang out by the pond, so sometimes she's down there, but most of the time she's just in our shop. So we will show y'all her whenever she kind of comes around and wants to do her own thing. But we've got all the goats just hanging out over here. We are up to 9 goats. This brown one right here, she is due with twins probably within this next month. If not the end of this month, probably the beginning of September. But she should be pretty close with twins. Verdict is still unsure about the kind of cream colored one. And then the 2 white ones here on the left, they were exposed. So we don't know if they're pregnant or not. We are hopeful, but we're still kind of unsure. So for those who have never seen kind of our property before, here is the front, at that front gate by the road. We have just made a little makeshift corral to work the goats. We actually worked them 2 days ago, and so that's been working fine for us just as a makeshift little corral. And then we have got about 2.5 acres fenced off right here. We've got a pond in the middle, which the goats aren't drinking out of. They don't enjoy it. The pigs like to go in it, and our dogs like to kind of get in it and drink out of it. So that's been working pretty good for them. And then we've just got our shop, and then on the other side of the fence is the garden, and all the way back up to the road. But coming down here, kind of beside the shop, you see we've got a little bit of supplies. We are in the works of making a lean-to kind of shelter for the goats and all the animals, but our auger was not working when we were trying to get it put up. I think it was honestly just the heat. Maybe needs to kind of be cleaned up, new oil and everything. But once it's not so hot outside, we will get back out and get back to work on that. And then over here on the other side of the shop, we've got our pigs. They like to hang out in this section over here. The goats really like it up at the top, and they kind of mind their own business over here. And we do have a little walk-through man gate right there. That way we can get in on this side as well. But right now we have got 3 piggies. We've got Big Mama over there, Daisy, and then we've just got 2 of her babies. We got Daisy, the mama, when she was pregnant, and she ended up having 7 babies, and we still have 2 of the babies that we are trying to just grow up, and we will use them as meat for our family. We are not pig people, we decided. I still like Daisy. I want to keep her because I feel attached to her. Garrett is just ready to get rid of her. He's so over the pigs. Although they are a lot better now that they're kind of roaming around in the field instead of the pig pen we used to have them in. That was kind of really too small for them. He is over the pigs. I hope to keep her, so who knows what we'll end up doing eventually. But the 2 babies are probably going to be used for meat. We're just kind of waiting and growing them up just a little bit more. But out in the field right now, that's all we've got going on. So I'll kind of take y'all out and show y'all the rest of the animals. And here is our herd sire just coming up to say hi. Hi, boy. We still have not decided on a name for him yet. He looks just like our goat way back there, Dotsy, but they are not related in any way. They just look exactly the same. He is getting old enough that here within the next month, I would say, he should be mature enough to breed. But although the date is right, he is still a tiny little thing. And we do not feel like he's going to be ready to breed this fall for sure. So we may have to wait until next spring on him. And we've got just a little garden baby right here, just kind of having fun doing her own thing. Hey, sweetie. Do you see a puppy? That is so exciting. You see a puppy? So I'm just gonna have a little farm helper here for just a little bit. But coming over here to the garden, I'm really not gonna show y'all too much of the garden. I make a lot of videos, and I just recently made an in-depth video, like I said, about all those garden fails. And so I'm just gonna show y'all just a few little highlights of the garden. So here is just a little overview of the garden. We've got 5 raised beds, and then the trellis and just a little bit in the ground there. But I think in this last video I showed y'all how I've been feeding the beds with that garden food. But I wanted to show y'all a quick update on the peppers since I have been feeding these plants. They have had more growth in the past 2 weeks than they had since April. I mean, the plants are looking bigger, more luscious, have grown in height. This one right here has actually had a few little blooms, and hopefully will be producing peppers. But everything's just gotten a lot better since I started feeding the plants, or feeding the soil, I guess I should say, since they were lacking in so much nutrients. And then even the loofah up here still have not produced any fruit, but I think when I started giving the soil what it really needs, the loofah plant was only about halfway up this trellis, and now it has spread all the way to this other side and is starting to go down. So it is doing so much better, and I'm really glad I finally tested the soil and figured out what it was lacking. That way now it's doing a lot better. And here in the shop is Miss Bella, like I said she would be. She hangs out mostly in the very back of our shop. Ignore all of our junk. We were working on it, did really good, and then it's just been hot, so we kind of stopped. But she is just hanging out in here, and she is a sweet girl. Like I said, she's about 6 years old. She was used as a breeder dog, as a livestock guardian dog, but they've kind of retired her from that. And so, like I said, we were able to get her and then one of her grandsons. But we can usually find her back in here, and honestly a lot of times, like especially in the afternoon, she is either hanging out on our front porch or on our upper deck where our dining room is. And so she just kind of likes to hang out like that. Our inside dog, we do have a black lab. He is not so crazy about it, but he'll get over it. They're doing fine. We just try to make sure she's not like right there whenever we let him out to use the bathroom. So that's fine. And then the last thing in our shop that we do have is our male rabbit. He is a Rex rabbit. I'm not real sure off the top of my head how old he is at this point, but he is a Rex, and we've got him in here. So he is just kind of hanging out in this little cage. We've got 2 waters, a food thing for him, and then we do have a fan just right here blowing on him. That way he can stay nice and cool. It is significantly cooler in the shop than it is anywhere else. I am, however, hoping by this winter we can move this whole rabbit hutch to our garage. That way when it gets super cold out, we know that it'll be nice and warm in there. Coming around by the shop, the pigs were just fed, and so they are just eating. And whenever they're fed, the goats kind of like to come down here and see if they can pick up any of this grain. Normally the pigs do not allow it though. Alright, so back here we have got the chickens. We've always let our chickens free range, but this past week we did set up this electric netting to kind of keep them corralled for a whole number of reasons. But we do like having our chickens being free ranged, so we didn't want to just make like a run. One, that gets super expensive. We've got a lot of chickens. Our chickens are always growing, and so we didn't want something that is just going to be kind of set in one spot. But this, we can kind of move to different areas. We'd like to get a few more. That way we can connect them and make a really large pen. Right now it is getting really hot right back here. This is directly where the sun hits. So most of the chickens are hanging out in the coop for right now. But we've got their food, all their, we feed them in there. They've got their laying boxes. And so it's working out pretty decent. But like I said, most of our chickens right now are just hanging out inside the coop. They've got this big tree limb that kind of shades the entrance and keeps their water cool. But this is the fencing that we have just going kind of all the way around here. It is solar paneled, and so we're trying to figure out exactly how to use it. Like right now, the fence is on, but like last night, once the shade hit, we could touch it and tell that the fence was not on. So we're just trying to play around with it. Like I said, we've only had it set up for really with the solar panel just like 2 days, and so it's kind of a learning curve, but we are going to figure it out and keep them all inside here. We do still have some chickens that aren't pinned up in there. We weren't able to catch them all, and then like last night when the fence wasn't on, our rooster got out, and so we have a few that are still kind of free ranging, but we'll kind of catch them and put them in there as we go. But the last thing that we have got out here is our turkeys and our baby goats. Right now, the turkeys and everything are still a little too small to kind of go out with the rest of the chickens or out in the field. But we have got 5 little baby turkeys in there. They're getting a lot bigger. We've just kind of kept them in this dog pen with a tarp on it to keep them nice and cool. And then we have got our baby goat. She's, I think, 6 weeks old today. And so she kind of hangs out here, what I call the nursery, for right now. She is still a little too small to go out in the field with the rest of the goats just because she can get through the hog panels. So she hangs out in here for part of the day, and then whenever we're out, she kind of comes out and roams around with us typically. She is still being bottle fed. That's why she's separate away from her mom, because the mom never took care of her. So she is bottle fed, and we will... Sorry, my camera died, so I'm not exactly sure where I left off. But like I was saying, Mama didn't really take care of the goat, so she is being bottle fed. Hopefully she'll be big enough to not fit through the hog panels here really soon. But in the meantime, she's just kind of hanging out here in the nursery with all the little turkeys. And our plan for the turkeys is to try out getting meat for our family this way. Like I said, we're not really pig people. And like now, I'm not really buying ground beef at all. We really just eat ground turkey because it's a little bit cheaper at the store currently. And so we're gonna try to have turkey for our family. We are hoping to breed 2 of them. We're hoping for a tom and then just a female one. That way we can breed 2 of them and kind of try out this turkey meat. So that is our plans for those for right now. But we do have some stuff kind of coming up this next week. I know since we added the electric netting, all of our chickens were roosting on our deck steps, but now they're having to actually roost in the coop where they're supposed to. So I want to add a new roosting bar this weekend. Some of our little chicks that weren't old enough to lay eggs, they were probably just like a week or 2 out from laying eggs. They liked to roost up in the trees above the coop because their wings weren't clipped yet. And an owl did get, I think, 2 of them this past weekend. And so we have got rubber snakes coming in and plastic owl, trying to keep the owls away. We do have an electric big old bug mosquito zapper that's going to go in the coop just to kind of clear out the coop from mosquitoes. Like I said, they really weren't using the coop that much anymore. They were kind of laying their eggs wherever and then roosting on our steps. And so this way they'll actually be forced to go in the coop now. And so we just want to make it really nice for them. So that is our plans for this week and coming up weekend. But I think that is really it. I know we've always got stuff going on around here. You know, we have plans for everything and constantly changing. I try to keep y'all updated here as much as I can. And then also, if you check out our YouTube shorts, we do a lot of updates there too, like when we get a new goat and everything. We may not always make a new video about it because, like I said, things are constantly changing, but I do try to update y'all over there. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing kind of the changes we had going on around here, and we will see you next time. Bye.